I'm going to call the meeting to order. 2.1, I need approval from our board to approve the agenda. All right, got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? First of all, before I kick it to Commissioner Chairman Waters, I want to recognize a couple of good distinguished guests in the room. Number one, Representative Keith Kidwell. And number two, State Superintendent Catherine Truitt. To you, Chairman Waters.
Thank you very much. Am I on? Okay.
You're on.
Thank you very much, and we appreciate the invitation to have a joint meeting with the school board. Representative Kidwell gave me a call and asked me if I could help arrange this. And if you've been around here very long, you always say yes. So anyway, at this time, I'll call our meeting to order, and I need the approval of our agenda.
Motion to approve.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed? Thank you.
All right. 3.1 on our agenda, I'm going to kick it to our superintendent, Dr. Matthew Cheeseman.
We're very excited that Beaufort County Schools has applied for a needs-based public school grant fund in the amount of $42 million for the application. That application was submitted in December ahead of the January deadline. And I'm very excited to introduce State Superintendent Catherine Truitt with an update on that application.
All right, thank you so much. Okay. Well, it is a beautiful day here in Eastern North Carolina, and I couldn't be happier to spend some time outside of Raleigh to be with all of you good people. It's always a joy to get out of Raleigh and come to the eastern part of the state and prove to others that there is life in North Carolina east of I-95. So, yes. So, as Dr. Cheeseman said, Beaufort County Schools has applied for a capital needs-based grant. There is about $258 million that has been appropriated from the NC lottery funds, the education lottery funds, by the General Assembly to the Department of Public Instruction to award grants as applied to by our districts. We've had about $1 billion worth of ask for about $248 million this session. So there is a lot of ask, and I'm happy to say that the about $1 billion has been given over the last couple of years through this program created by the General Assembly, and we anticipate that more will follow. But what I'm here today to tell you is that you are a finalist for these dollars, and that is why I am here. And so if it's okay, I have some questions to ask so that we can kind of get on the record the commitment from the county commissioners as well as the school board and its leadership.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, thank you. So the application is for $42 million, I believe, correct? Correct. Okay, and your application states that you are going to consolidate 2 schools, and I believe they are elementary schools, is that right?
Correct.
So has there been consensus around that consolidation?
From the school board, yes.
Okay. From the county commissioners?
In our meetings and conversations, we've asked if they're satisfied with that or if there's a different priority, and I think their vote was unanimous.
No,
The school board,
we had an 8-1.
okay.
So, so if I could say that there is, the legislation requires me to prioritize consolidation. So, because we must look at the number of students served. So, in order to be efficient in the building of schools, which is incredibly expensive, the legislature requests in its statute that consolidation be prioritized. So that's just for you all to know.
Let me back up. I've been a commissioner going on 9 years. and in all the conversations that I've heard over the last 9 years, is that it's really unfair for a child in Washington to go to 4 different schools from kindergarten through the 8th grade. It may be okay for the average student, but for the one that has special needs, about the time they get adjusted to the environment, they move again. So I think those 2 schools meets the long-term need of trying to reduce the number of times somebody has to move.
So as an educator myself, I appreciate that.
You can pull it to you.
I appreciate that statement, and the truth is that the research is very clear that when students have to continually change schools, that they experience an academic slide, a social slide, and so it's absolutely beneficial to students to not have to change within middle schools. Transitioning from 5th grade to 6th grade is the natural progression in our country to change buildings, and so we know that students experience it can be very difficult. And then it's difficult again when they have to transition from 8th grade to 9th grade to a new building. And so to ask students to do that within elementary school, I agree with you that, that's a lot to ask of students and their families. So this would then eliminate the transition between 1st grade and 2nd grade because they're currently having to go to different schools. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So right now, do those elementary schools have multiple points of entry?
Yes, they do.
Okay. So that's a huge safety concern. Are you far enough along in the process to know that your new building would have 1 point of entry?
We have a conceptual design from Heighton Associates for a concept of the building and what it would probably look like. And yes, we would reduce the number of entrances to the building.
Yes, that's great, because when you have multiple points of entry, that is how safety incidences occur. So we would hope that there would be one point of entry. So this would be built on the existing Eastern Elementary campus, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And it's, how many square feet? Do you know what? 135,000 is what?
135,000, yep.
Okay, okay. And so my understanding also is that there is a local match that is required for Beaufort County, and that the amount of money that has been pledged is $10 million. Is that correct?
I don't believe there's been a vote on the $10 million.
Excuse me, during our meeting on December the 4th, we visited for, I guess it was well over an hour, and we talked about the match. We actually didn't take a vote on it, but we did talk about the match. What was unusual to me was the fact that we could pay our part over a 3-year period. We're very fortunate with our fund balance now. We're a little over 45%, Brian, on our fund balance. So we can handle our portion with cash without going to a lender. So here again, our vote was 5-2. So I think I can say that we comfortably can handle our part.
Thank you. Thank you. So at this time, I would like to ask Representative Kidwell if he has anything to add.
If I can get my microphone to work. You got it?
You got it.
There it is.
There it
All right.
is.
I don't know that I actually need it. My ad would be is I appreciate the state considering, the Department of Public Instruction considering Beaufort County for this. My children attended Liberty and John Small, or Eastern Elementary and John Small. When I look at what happened in that transition with them, it was somewhat difficult. One of them started at Eastern and moved to John Cotton Taylor. The other one started John Small and moved to another school very quickly thereafter. And that transition does create a lot of problems. I think the building that we currently have at Eastern, that situation, I believe they have to go outside on a regular basis to access the basic amenities of the school, creating a very dangerous situation as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we see these school shootings, abductions, things of that nature. And, hopefully we don't ever see that in Beaufort County. But I think the situation of narrowing this down to a smaller school, it would save us from the potential of that much further. I think the people that I've spoken with in Beaufort County are very interested in seeing this consolidation of the schools. I know it's been a point of consternation constantly that we are dealing with this, and I'm hopeful that we can continue to move forward with it. So as far as me being the representative for this county, I stand fully behind the project, and will do everything I can to see to it that that happens. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I add one more comment?
Yes, sir.
I failed. One of the things during our meeting in December that I pointed out to the commissioners, I asked our chief financial officer to run the numbers on what it would cost the citizens of Beaufort County if we did a bond for 30 years at 5%. So we're looking not only at the grant money, but to the citizens of Beaufort County, that's a total of $81.9 million. So this grant is very important as it relates to the people within Beaufort County.
Yes. Well, I appreciate that you took the time to run those numbers, and I know that consolidation can be a difficult decision. But in the case of Beaufort County, as it relates specifically to other applications that have come to the department, as well as the legislative mandate that we consider alongside county tier status, which is important, as well as a county's ability to generate tax revenue, I am very happy to let you all know that you have been awarded $42 million. Would you like to say something? I'll let you hold on to it.
Your turn to talk.
Well, for Beaufort County, it's a great day. It's a great day for staff, students, and for the citizens of Beaufort County. $42 million is a lot of money coming back to this county. A lot of money. And the trickle-down effect from the building of the school, the combining of the school, the savings for the Beaufort County citizens is tremendous in the long haul. And for Dishwary, for Beaufort County, this is a great day. Great day.
Mr. Chairman, even though we've received this
Yes.
award, I would still like to be heard.
Okay, in our minutes in December, our motion was to move forward with the application for the grant, and that was approved. I've been advised that we need to have a motion to accept this grant, so I will entertain a motion to accept the grant.
Motion to accept.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
yes, this is the time for discussion.
I would like to be heard. Hood Richardson, Beaufort County Commissioner. There's not been a study done to determine whether consolidating this school is in the best interest of Beaufort County or not. The public was never involved in this process. A few politicians got together in the back room and made this decision. One question is, what is the capacity of, and this is rhetorical, what is the capacity of an elementary school today? We're gonna put 1,000 students up to the age of 8 years old in one building. And we're gonna tear down 2 perfectly good school buildings that are in use today. I would point out that everybody in this room that's cackling is employed by the school board, and if they don't cackle, they're gonna be fired. The other thing is, we are still using crosstown busing.
Yeah. I'm sorry, is the question about the capacity of the
That
school?
was a rhetorical question.
Because I have an answer to that question. So this school is going to service, as you said, 1,000 students. There are multiple, again, $1 billion has already been awarded over the last 3 years. There are many rural districts that are have engaged with architectural plans and have broken ground and are building schools that accommodate upwards of 1,000 students or more. Your buildings right now, sir, are not safe.
Think of those small children. I'm not advocating that we burn them down. What I'm advocating is that the money is misspent in the interest of education. We, right now, 50% of the school space in Beaufort County is sitting vacant. Okay, so do we need to go, you're talking about consolidating versus doing away with neighborhood schools. When you build this new school, you have locked Beaufort County into about 40 years of consolidation. And the thought among modern thinkers is to get away from consolidation. It hasn't worked in Beaufort County. We have 8 schools that are failing, and we're building another consolidated school so we can fail in that school. An analysis should be done. The public should have been consulted. Do you want to spend this money for neighborhood schools, in which case you're saying you can't get a grant? Or do you want to do more consolidation, which is a total failure in Beaufort County? And this thing has not been looked at. It was a political decision that was made in the back room by 2 or 3 people in Beaufort County without the involvement of the public. And you are damaging Beaufort County schools and Beaufort County education, because we should look at a system where we can keep a student in a building for 8 years before they go to high school. We are not doing that with this system. We are perpetuating a terrible education system that's going to put stress and burden on not only students, parents. Can you imagine people going to pick up kids with 1,000 students in the school? The parking situation alone is a nightmare. So this has not been thought through. This is a great example of bad government at work.
Anyone else have any comments or a question before we move on? Okay.
I don't have a microphone, probably won't need it. Can you hear me okay?
I can, sir.
Okay. Stan Deathridge, Beaufort County Commissioner. I've been doing this for 24 years. We've never had a situation where we had a school on the books where they came to the commissioners and we had such a short time to decide what to do. Plus we reviewed no plans on the school whatsoever. As an old surveyor, I need a site map. I need to be able to see the horizontal and the vertical measurements of what's there and what will be there. You know, working on ground that's already been used, you find a lot of things when you dig. And these are issues that I wanted to see as someone who would have to appropriate upwards of $10 million of the county's money. Right now, this school is going to be built at $383 a square foot. I know we've got problems with the Biden administration creating a situation, the economy, we've got too much money, chasing too few goods, and inflation is outrageous when it comes to building stuff. $383 a square foot is probably at least double what it was 4 years ago. What I'm saying is, with no plans for us to at least look at what might be an alternative, or is this the best plan forward at this time? I feel like we've been left out of the picture. It's impossible, after all the years I've spent representing the taxpayers, their money, to be able to make a decision to vote for this at this time without more time to further investigate how to do this, and is this the best way forward? So I'm gonna vote no.
Can we call the question?
I want to make sure that I don't leave anybody out. We're entitled to have 10 minutes of discussion before we vote, and I want to make sure other commissioners, if you have a comment, either yes or no, this is your turn. So,
I do have one. It is time for Beaufort County to start being more progressive in everything that we do. If you listen to the 2 gentlemen who have spoken that are talking about moving backwards instead of moving forward. When we think about our children and the people who teach our children, you want them to be in the safest environment
environment possible. And this will allow that to happen with the consolidation of these two schools. We cannot continue to put patches on problems. We need to stop kicking the can down the road like these gentlemen want to do. We applaud the state for awarding this money to Beaufort County. And I can pretty much guarantee you, if we take a vote, we'll all be satisfied.
I just wanna say thank you. I mean, this is bigger than just the children, you got employees. And the gentleman was correct. Some of them, you said you got to go outside, go to the bathroom. That is sad, sad, sad to say in America today. But the good thing about it, both counties over 300 years old. Today's the first day. Anybody ever walked in with $42 billion to say?
I was in the first class at Eastern Elementary. I'm 65 years old. So I've looked at that. I just don't know what the designers were thinking when they designed that school. I'm glad we can make changes permanent. And, you know, there is no such thing as free money, but this is about as close as it gets. Thank you.
Okay, before you call the question, I want to take some of the heat for this. This has not been a backroom deal. I don't want you to take that back to Raleigh. This process started 3 years ago when I attended the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners summer conference. And I attended one of the sessions that the North Carolina Lottery did for all of the commissioners. I was the only one from Beaufort County that sat in on the discussion. And as you well know, when it comes to funding between us and the schools, I mean, it got heated a little bit, and it was not because the lottery was doing it, it was because some people wanted to go back the second time and the third time before some of the other counties got it.
That's right.
I mean, it was very contentious. But I made up my mind when I came back, this map of North Carolina that had 40 at the time, I can't remember what it is. I know it's up to 47 counties now, that Beaufort County was going to be in that number, that we were not going to sit back. It's our fiduciary responsibility as elected officials to participate in that. So at this time, I'm going to call the vote. All those in favor of accepting this grant, please raise your right hand. Okay, those that are opposed, raise your right hand. Thank you.
Does our board have anything to say individually, or y'all good, or what? We're all good? All right, everybody good? We're, Beaufort County's,
How about our teachers and employees in the audience?
Can I say something?
all right, hold on. Ms. Truitt would like one more thing.
I appreciate the questions that the gentleman on the end posed about wanting more information about a design, and now that the money is here, an architect can be hired, and all of these questions will be answered. This is how it's worked in multiple other rural districts across the state, and I have no doubt that Beaufort County will rise to the challenge and figure out all of the answers to the important questions that you have. Children,
Let me speak to that. It's never happened like that in Beaufort County before.
well, there's legislation that needs to be followed and a grant on paper that serves as a record for the process, and so it will absolutely be followed. Children and the adults who serve them need to have a safe place to come to work every day so that children can learn and grow. Our state is already one of the fastest recovering states from the pandemic, and Beaufort County is included in that calculus. we have to continue to move forward with the way that we serve our students, and that includes facilities that are at a bare minimum safe, because you have to Maslow before you can bloom, and I know my teachers know exactly what I'm talking about.
Are you good?
Yeah.
All right, school board, I'll have a motion to, oh, Keith, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, yes, thank you very much.
Sorry.
If I may take just a moment, first, I'd like to thank the superintendent for this. This is wonderful, I think, for Beaufort County, so how about a hand for the superintendent? This, I think, is probably one of the most exciting days in Beaufort County, this kind of money coming in. That's really going to be a taxpayer relief that we don't have to pay to rebuild these buildings through local tax dollars. And honestly, this is not even state tax dollars. This is people who chose to go and buy lottery tickets on the North Carolina Education Lottery. Although, yeah, I'm not a big fan. My wife does enjoy playing, so, you know.
Thank her for it.
I'll give her that message, thank you. I can tell you from experience, you typically lose more than you win, so, or she does anyway. But, you know, I'm glad to say that as the representative, I've pushed very hard to make sure that the education lottery funding was used for education. And I think in this case, we're seeing it so much coming back to Beaufort County. I'm very pleased to see that. I look forward to seeing the new building. I'd like to be there when the ribbon is cut and the new children and teachers are welcomed in. I envision a new building with beautiful computer systems and electronics and things of that nature. Now, I know there's some members in here that don't like the 21st century. We're in it, people, okay? We're computerizing everything in this county, from one end, from the courthouses, you know, to the schools, and I think this is gonna go a long way toward that. So I look forward to that happening, and I'm gonna enjoy every moment of it. I think I'm gonna be very proud when I tell the taxpayers of this county that we had a superintendent that thought this county was deserving of $42 million because we've put forth the right foot, the right way to do things. And I want to continue to commit to you that I will continue to do that as I serve this county. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Keith. All right, I will entertain a motion to close, adjourn.
Before we do, TW, we want a lot of photo ops, and I know your time is very precious, but I want to make sure that this crowd in here that turned out for you today get an opportunity to stand behind you holding that great big check. So, if y'all have somewhere to go, we understand, you can get up and run out. But if you don't, if you will stick around, even if we have to go in the parking lot, we'll get a big picture, all right?
I got one last thank you to our superintendent, Dr. Matthew Cheeseman, for leading. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Yes, sir.
I also need a motion to adjourn. And a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you very much.
Thank you.